On today's Take 30 News, the national election may be coming to an end. It's homecoming week on the MSU campus, and MSU is offering a Winter Express semester for students. All of that and more coming up on your Take 30 News. Welcome to Take 30 News. I'm Quiana Harrington. On Tuesday, people all over the United States set out to vote for their choice for president. However, this election day was different because the winner has yet to be announced, as well as some alleged controversies. Take 30 News' Dalton Whitfield has the story.
As Election Day turns into Election Week, the battle for the White House heats up. The margin for President Trump's re-election slims as former Vice President Joe Biden gains the lead in Georgia and Pennsylvania. As states count more absentee ballots, the battleground states get closer.
Very close in Pennsylvania.
Throughout the week, the Trump administration has expressed concern over alleged voter fraud, which is yet to be verified by any officials.
We're winning in all the key locations by a lot, actually. And then our numbers started miraculously getting whittled away in secret.
Recounts have been called for, but with little to no evidence for it. Georgia and Wisconsin are the first states so far.
You count the legal votes, I easily win.
Biden, who is leading in the Electoral College, showed confidence in an earlier speech.
We have no doubt that when the count is finished, Senator Harris and I will be declared the winners.
He plans on speaking sometime tonight. With Take 30 News, I'm Dalton Whitfield.
Alaska's numbers are slowly coming in, leaning towards the president, and lawsuits have been filed by the Trump administration in Michigan and Pennsylvania alleging voter fraud. Although the 2020 presidential election has yet to wrap up, administrators felt it was time to have an open dialogue on the political climate across the nation and how students on MSU's campus has been affected. The 2020 election has been unlike any other. For many college students, this was their first time voting, and they are anxious about the results of the elections. MSU administrators created a safe space for students to share their concerns, frustrations, and how they've been impacted during a post-election virtual debrief. MSU student Taylor Anderson shares her thoughts about the historical election.
This election has been impacting me a lot. It's making me very anxious to find out who our next president is going to be. I've been staying up all night, checking the news every 5 minutes, 15 minutes, and I'm glad they are counting every single vote because it makes sure that all of our voices are heard.
Georgia is one of the final states counting votes and could have a major impact on the election. Take 30 News' Audrey Riley is in Georgia with updates.
It was like just a lot more drama around it than I thought it would be.
With votes still being counted for this year's presidential election, people are on edge waiting to see who the next leader of America will be. As if 2020 isn't crazy enough, it just keeps getting crazier and crazier. This year, Georgia was a swing state when in years past it has been majority Republican. Georgia resident Damani Smart is surprised at the close race for presidency.
That was a little bit unexpected. I didn't think it was going to be as close as because the votes are still being counted. But I didn't think it was going to be as close as it was because normally Georgia's, as far as I know, pretty much Republican for the most part.
The largest county in the state, Fulton County, reported more than 8,000 additional ballots. Trump's lead in the state narrowed tremendously after those votes were counted. Fulton County also had about 20,000 absentee ballots to be counted. 4% of the vote in Georgia still remain to be counted. Georgia State student Angel Robbins is discouraged with how she feels the state of Georgia has handled the election.
We are still counting votes as we speak, and the voters, specifically in Fulton County, had a hard time being able to cast their votes. So, again, just unprepared overall.
As of early Friday morning, Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger announced that the state would most likely do a recount due to the close race between President Trump and former Vice President Biden. Because of how close the numbers are in votes, the state's voting system is going to have to investigate everything to protect the integrity of the votes.
I think this year's election has been very unorganized, very unprepared. Due to the pandemic, there hasn't been a lot of preparation in regards to voting as far as mail-in ballots and all that goes. So overall, I think it's been very messy.
Many people are already frustrated with how long the election process has taken, and they may be even more frustrated that it may take even longer with Georgia recounting their votes. I'm Audrey Riley with Take 30 News.
Georgia officials have announced in a press conference today that they anticipate having a recount of votes because of the narrow margin. The United States hit a new daily high for COVID-19 cases on Tuesday, with national, state, and local elections taking place. Starkville officials gave Take 30 News' David Smith a look at the process for counting ballots in this abnormal election.
Records were broken nationally. This election had more voters than any election prior, and it took place in the year of COVID-19. Polling places were challenged by encountering large crowds, but also having to make sure COVID protocols were followed.
As a whole, everything was surprisingly smooth, and the reason I say surprisingly is because we had approximately 20,000 people cast ballots. That's by far the largest turnout we have ever had.
The polling place was extremely well run, very professional, and very organized, so I was extremely impressed.
Polling places were required to lay out social distancing guidelines, along with masks being required at all times while inside.
Safety of our staff, our poll workers, and our voters is our top priority.
Nationwide, ballots are still being counted to determine the outcome of the presidential election. But are there still absentee ballots being counted here in Oktibbeha County?
Absolutely. In fact, when you walked in the door, you probably saw about 9 people over to your right. Those individuals are counting absentee ballots. That's what we call our resolution board, and they have 3,131 absentee ballots that they're still in the process of counting.
Tony Rook anticipates that all of the ballot counting will be complete by the end of the day on Friday. For Take 30 News, I'm David Smith.
There was a lot of change Tuesday in Mississippi as voters made their voice heard. Cindy Hyde-Smith won her re-election to the Senate. She has been in office since 2018. For the first time in 126 years, a new flag flies for the state. The flag, approved by a majority of voters, features the words, "In God We Trust," instead of the divisive Confederate battle emblem that previously flew for 126 years. Mississippi voters approved Initiative 65, a citizen-sponsored proposal that legalizes medical marijuana. Many state leaders argued the initiative was too broad and would approve marijuana with few restrictions. Voters rejected that argument on Tuesday, according to a declaration of victory by the initiative's campaign. We'll have more on Initiative 65 on next week's Take 30 News. Coming up after the break, Take 30 News' Aranisha Dukes and Elizabeth Jackson take us inside all of the homecoming week festivities.
Across the country. Some are battling brain tumors, others vertebral and spinal conditions. And as rewarding as our work often is, it can be frustrating at times. That's because brain and nervous system conditions are difficult to diagnose and treat, especially when they affect patients who can't talk. A while back, we saw a chance to start something special here, introducing innovative imaging to better understand brain and spinal cord diseases in cats and dogs. Having that type of information makes a substantial difference when developing treatment and surgical plans. It also aids in personalizing the rehabilitation process. The toughest part of our job comes when our patients are well enough to go home. As thrilled as we are to see them walk again, a big piece of our heart goes out the door when they leave.
Fall 2020 homecoming is finally here at MSU, and the celebration is on for the Bulldogs.
I absolutely love it. Homecoming is like my favorite holiday. I don't know if people think that's a holiday, but I do.
In honor of this year's homecoming week, Mississippi State Student Association organized multiple events on campus for students. This past Wednesday, MSU Student Association hosted their Out of This World trivia contest at Barnes & Noble.
We do trivia nights all the time, but we wanted to focus this one more on space and MSU, and we just wanted to celebrate the knowledge that was about campus and things that were going around on campus.
In addition to their trivia contest, the Student Association hosted their Counting the Stars guessing game and giveaway Thursday on MSU's drill field.
We'll have a jar filled of the Midnight Milky Ways on the drill field, and the students will come by and they'll be able to guess the number of Milky Ways in the jar, and whoever gets the correct number or at least closest to that number will win a gift basket, and in that gift basket is an Apple Watch.
Additional events hosted by MSU Student Association include the Space Jam Drive-In Movie Night in the Sanderson's parking lot at 8 p.m. tonight. For Take 30 News, I am Arinisha Dukes.
Tune into the announcement of the winners for MSU Student Association's banners, door, and lawn decoration competition at the game on Saturday. This week, students were able to get a free t-shirt while also being able to give back.
This past Tuesday, the Mississippi State Student Association hosted a t-shirt swap on the drill field. Students were able to help out the community while also getting a free t-shirt for this year's homecoming.
Gives back to the community. We are donating these to the Emerson Family Center, which my co-director Emmy's grandmother works at, and so we saw a need and we're trying to fill that need.
This is the second year the event has been held for homecoming, but it has been set up differently because of COVID.
This year we were really just trying to be strict on leaving a shirt folded out there for them to grab, so just us and them are touching it, nobody else, and wearing masks the whole time that we're out here with a bunch of people, just being safe and being careful.
Even though this event had to contend with COVID restrictions and the changes to the drill field because of construction, the process was simple and easy. Students could bring in a gently worn t-shirt like this, and in exchange, they were able to get one of these. Giving back to the community allows those who helped put the event together feel proud of what they were able to accomplish for their community.
Actually seeing people just actually getting involved and invested in this type of thing is definitely the most rewarding part of this event.
For Take 30 News, I am Elizabeth Jackson.
For more information on events being held for the remainder of homecoming and the semester, visit the website below. MSU is offering a Winter Express semester option for students, and Inclusive Playground is in the works in Starkville. All of that and more after a quick break.
The sense of place. We all have it, often grown from deep roots in small-town communities. At Mississippi State University, our Carl Small Town Center is strengthening these ties. With nearly 40 years of making a difference, we're revitalizing communities into welcoming places to work, live, and congregate. By weaving together the best pieces of our past with modern technology and amenities, we're creating the hometowns of the future. Places where lifetime memories can be made, where you have all the things you need, along with all the things you want. Through partnerships with our communities, we're identifying improvement opportunities, recommending paths forward, and creating the plans for a better tomorrow. Have you ever thought about what it would take to eliminate one of the most dreaded illnesses of the year? At Mississippi State University, we're dreaming big, fast on the heels of scientific discoveries that will lead to the prevention, diagnosis, and treatment of flu and other illnesses. For researchers, the biggest challenge is keeping pace with viruses that are constantly evolving to become more contagious. But at Mississippi State, we have the upper hand. Our scientists are working with teams around the world to predict when and where new viruses will emerge, combining forces to create flu vaccines before epidemics actually hit. That's because, as a premier research university, we believe it is our responsibility to help improve the lives of those around us. And we're working hard to help create a world where the flu is something children will one day read about in history books.
With the end of semester closing in, Mississippi State is offering students a chance to earn more credits. Take 30's Cam Bell has the story.
For the first time in over a decade, Mississippi State will be offering a winter session as a chance for scholars to advance in their studies. With the fall semester ending abnormally early in November, the winter session will be an opportunity for students to get a head start on spring semester or grab extra credits to speed up graduation. MSU student Grace Waters believes this is a great option for students.
It's going to help a lot of students. It's going to help me. I have looked into what's being offered, and honestly, I know 2 classes that I'm going to have before I go into my next semester, or it would be helpful to have it. And I personally think it'll benefit us a lot.
The Winter Express session will be 5 weeks long, the same as a normal Maymester would be. They are also offering over 200 courses for scholars of any level. The session will be an online flexible format, identical to the online courses students have had recently due to COVID. Student William Morrow believes the transition will be seamless.
So I feel like it's probably better integrated now after COVID with all the online that the schools implemented, but I think it could be really helpful. I mean, I know a lot of people benefit from the summer semester, so maybe if some people don't have that availability during the summer, the winter is the right time.
Winter semester registration will occur when students are able to register for their spring semester. For Take 30 News, I'm Camion Bell.
For more information on the winter semester, visit msstate.edu. The Starkville Rotary Club and the City of Starkville are working together to build a playground for both special needs kids and college students alike. The City of Starkville has promised to match the Rotary Club dollar for dollar up to $200,000. Grant Arender is the current president of the Starkville Rotary Club and is the man behind the playground idea.
He would love to do an inclusion or inclusive playground, meaning that children in wheelchairs and other disabilities would be able to play.
Audrey Patterson, Hassel Franklin, Sandy Williams, and the late Bobby Martin exemplified how to give back and improve the community that helped shape them. They were honored as the 2020 recipients of the Jack Reed Senior Northeast Mississippi Community Leadership Award at the Create Foundation's annual meeting held at the Bancorp South Conference Center Thursday. Homecoming is coming to a head this weekend as the Bulldogs face off with Vanderbilt in those clean new uniforms. What else is going on in the sports world today, Holly?
Well, it's going to be a special weekend for the Bulldogs as the Flying M comes back onto the unis and the field. Volleyball sweeps Texas A&M, and basketball is finally back. All of that and more after the break.
When it comes to life on the coast, it's the world beneath the waves that supports the world above. So when an integral part of a delicate ecosystem disappears, economies on land are disrupted and livelihoods are lost. At Mississippi State University, we're aggressively confronting this issue on the Mississippi coast, where 90% of the local oyster population has vanished over the past decade due to circumstances both natural and man-made. In response, we're building computer models to simulate oyster movement and sustainability, models to determine strategic placement of artificial reefs to not only boost the dwindling food source, but to aid in coastal storm resilience and water filtration. It's a project that's paving the way for a healthier, cleaner coastline and a rejuvenated local economy. And for us here at MSU, that's more than just a good cause. It's one we can sink our teeth into. Flight. It's driven mankind's dreams for centuries. The ability to soar above the earth, to travel to faraway places, to connect distant points. Manned flights to the moon and space were once the stars for which we reached. Now, unmanned aircraft are the future. At Mississippi State University, our teams are developing unmatched unmanned aircraft systems for an array of critical applications. We're so good at it, the Federal Aviation Administration named MSU a Center of Excellence in the field, asking us to lead the team that's creating the operating regulations for unmanned aircraft systems worldwide. So essentially, we're writing the flight plan for an industry that is the future. Our work means better information, more opportunity, and limitless horizons for you. The sky really is the only limit.
Welcome back to Take 30 Sports. I'm Holly Emery. Mississippi State's star running back Kylan Hill officially announced on Tuesday that he will not be playing the rest of the season in order to prepare for the 2021 NFL Draft. Hill wrote a social media post thanking all of the fans and coaches for all of their support on his personal Instagram on Wednesday. The last time Hill played in the game was against Kentucky in Lexington. Looking into the weekend, football is back in town when the Dogs play the Commodores in Davis-Wade for homecoming. With both offenses struggling at the moment, Bulldog fans are hoping that quarterback KJ Costello can manage to score against Vanderbilt's vulnerable defense. However, even though State is favored to beat Vandy, the game is a must-win for the 0-4 team. The pressure to stop the skid and turn the season around might give the Commodores the extra motivation to beat the Bulldogs. If you aren't able to get tickets to the game, you can tune in and watch it on SEC Network at 2:30 p.m. Central. In the spirit of homecoming, the Flying M, the Mississippi State logo from the 60s, has been painted on the field in preparation for the game tomorrow afternoon. The Flying M logo was a tribute to Mississippi State's efforts in the NASA mission to the moon in the 1960s. The Flying M will also be on the uniforms as well as the field. Looking into the weekend, football is back in town when Going into high school sports, the Starkville High School Yellow Jackets, who were previously ranked number 1, will be going to Clinton, will be playing in Clinton this evening at 7 o'clock. However, after 2 devastating losses to Madison Central, the Warren Central, they are now ranked number 3. The Yellow Jackets will be playing Clinton tonight, who are 5-2. You can watch that game live by going on to SHS's athletic website. With football season quickly coming to a close, fans can look forward to college basketball season as well. Both Mississippi State's men and women's basketball team began practice last week for the upcoming season. Although the women's team has not released a schedule yet, the men's team has. Later this month, the men will be playing in the Hump on November 30th against Texas State. For more information on the 2020-21 season, visit hailstate.com. From the field to the courts, the Mississippi State volleyball team took down number 7 Texas A&M in a 5-set sweep earlier this week. Junior Gabby Waden had 24 kills alone, completely dominating the offense overall. Coach Julie Darty said, in quote, "We played hard tonight, and it paid off big time. I'm so proud of this team. We battled, we fought, and we came out on top. The composure and response after the first set was incredible. I'm just so happy for my girls," unquote. That's all for sports this week. More Take 30 after the break.
When you're the best, everyone wants to see what you'll do next. At Mississippi State University, our team of world-class rocket engineers is venturing beyond boundaries, building rockets like none before. We're launching a new era of space exploration. We've developed cutting-edge technology that's helping us build a rocket that can travel at 4 times the speed of sound. Fast? Yes, but more importantly, revolutionary. For you and for a space program that produces many of the conveniences we enjoy today. We're shaping your life in ways you never dreamed. What's next? Watch us and see.
COVID-19 has impacted another Starkville tradition. The Starkville Christmas Parade has been canceled. The decision was made by both the Greater Starkville Development Partnership and the Starkville Main Street Association. Paige Watson, the Special Events and Projects Coordinator, said that due to the expected high attendance for an outdoor event, they didn't feel like they could move forward with it safely. Instead, there will be a virtual Christmas showcase called Home for the Holidays. The program will feature familiar favorites like the famous Maroon Band and Santa Claus. You can watch it on Facebook and WOBV Channel 5 on Monday, November 30th at 6 p.m. Thank you for joining us on Take 30 News. You can follow us on social media at Take 30 News MSU on Twitter and Instagram. Our Take 30 News podcast will be out on Monday. We'll be back next Friday for our final broadcast of the season. Good night from the MSU campus.